This is video number 9 in a series on Foundations of Arithmetic, Algebra, and Graphing. My name is Bill Kinney. So far I've focused on, in this series, addition and multiplication. Now I want to focus on division of integers. In video 9 is going to be part 1 of a short series on division of integers. I want to make this series definitely fewer videos and shorter videos than the ones for multiplication. So in this video I'll start off with a pretty classic application of division. It's what you typically learn about when you first learn about division. You have, let's say, 5 people in your family and you decide you all want to go to an apple orchard and pick apples, and you get 147 of them. How many apples do you each get if you split them fairly, and how many apples are left over? Hopefully you see that the thing you would do is take 147 and divide it by 5. The quotient would be how many apples each person gets, and the remainder would be, well, how many are left over. What I want to just focus on here is a simpler problem to help us understand why that works. And I do want to focus a lot on understanding in these videos, oftentimes with simpler examples that can help you solve the problem or understand it better. Let's say you've got, instead of 147 apples, you've got 15 apples. And let's say instead of 5 people, you've got 4 people. And it's the same question. You want to split these apples fairly, and you're wondering how many are left over. Let's use red for red apples. I'm going to just draw the apples here on a vertical line, 15 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And if we're going to try to split these fairly, we'll number the people 1 through 4. Person 1 gets the first apple, person 2 gets the second, person 3 gets the third, person 4 gets the fourth. Getting a little bit clunky here, I'll move to the left side. Person 1 now gets the fifth one, then person 2, 3, 4. Next group, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we notice that we have 3 apples left over that nobody gets initially, at least. And so what we've got is that each person gets 3 apples. And there's 3 left over. We could also, what we would write then is that 15 divided by 4 gives you a quotient of 3 and a remainder of 3 as well. That first 3, representing the fact that each person gets 3 apples, is called the quotient. And this next 3, representing the fact that there are 3 left over that nobody got, is called the remainder. You can always think of this kind of problem in terms of multiplication as well, just like you can think of any subtraction problem in terms of addition. You can think of any division problem in terms of multiplication and, well, addition as well. What you can think of this as saying is that 15 is 3 times 4. Each of the 4 people gets 3 apples, or 4 times 3. By the way, I've made a dot there for times. That is commonly done. I've been making an X, which is what most people are used to from elementary school. But oftentimes we'll make a dot for multiplication. Each of the 4 people get 3 apples, and then there's 3 left over. Notice 15 indeed is 3 times 4, which is 12, plus 3, which is 15. When you see this, the multiplication does get done before the addition. That is order of operations. Multiplication takes precedence over addition. I could put parentheses in here, and if I did, I'd want to put them like this to emphasize that the multiplication gets done first. I don't have to because it's assumed it does. I would definitely not want to do it the other way, though. I would not, I'll just put not equal to, that's a sort of up and down not equal to 3 times 4 plus 3 in parentheses. That's 3 times 7, which is 21. That's not it. Maybe I should scratch that all out. And that might be a little confusing because you might be saying, well, doesn't the associative property work? And my answer to you is that's not the associative property that I taught you in the past few videos, because you'd be mixing multiplication and addition. In the associative property I talked about before, multiplication and addition were not mixed. Anyway, coming back to the other problem here, 147 divided by 5. The quotient is going to be how many apples each person gets, each of the 5 people, and the remainder will be how many are left over. Just a little bit of trickery you can do in your head. If you 5 goes into 100 20 times, it goes into 150 30 times. It's going to go into 147 29 times. So that'll be how many apples each person gets. And 29 times 5 is 145, so the remainder is going to be 2. Notice I'm not bothering to show you the algorithm for doing this. But you can check it with your calculator. If you do it on your calculator, 147 divided by 5, you'll get 29.4 actually. 4 is the same as 2/5. So you can take the remainder and divide it by this thing. That's where the 0.4 comes from. I'm not talking about decimals yet here, so I want to emphasize it like this. Again, excuse me. Each of the 5 people gets 29 apples, and then there's 2 left over, and you can check that this works because this is 145 here. Excuse me. One more problem. Try to make it quick here. See if we can do it in a minute or so. Kind of a fun problem to think about. If today is Monday, and actually I am doing this on a Monday, what day of the week will it be 1,000 days from now? Think about that for a minute. Maybe pause the video. Can you solve it? Are you back now? Here's how you'd solve it. It's kind of interesting. You take 1,000 divided by 7. Turns out the quotient is not important for answering the question. The quotient tells you how many weeks go by, how many whole weeks, dividing by 7 since there's 7 days in a week. It's the remainder that matters, and I'll show you that here in a second. Do this in my head. I know 700 divided by 7 is 100. I know 7 also goes into, let's see, 70 and 210 and 280. 980, which is 280 above 700, is going to be, you're going to get, see, 7 goes into 280 40 times, you're going to get 140 there. 987, 994 divided by 7 is going to be 142, and then you're 6 short of 1,000, so this is going to be 142. That's how many weeks go by in 1,000 days. And the remainder is going to be 6. That's the key to answering the question. 6 days after Monday is Sunday, so the answer is Sunday. And that's the end of this video.